Hello, I'm Dr. Mike Jones. I'm the Managing Director of Impact Minerals Limited. And this picture here is of what we call our magic lake. It's Lake Hope. And we believe it's magic because in the top 2 meters of that lake there is something in the order of 15 billion US dollars worth of a niche mineral, but widely needed in the energy transition and in the high-tech industries. And that mineral is high purity alumina. And our plan is very straightforward. We're going to dig up that lake, the top 2 meters, we're going to transport it to Perth, where we have recently acquired a 50% share in a pilot plant, and we're going to produce the high purity alumina from that, which will get turned eventually into this. And this, if you don't know, is the Las Vegas Dome, and it is one of the world's great entertainment centers. And that dome is covered by 1.8 million light-emitting diodes. And behind every LED that goes into every light that's going in globally now, and every LED that you see around the place has a thin piece of sapphire, which is a form of high-purity alumina behind it. And as you can imagine, that market is growing quite tremendously. And we believe that between our lake and the process that we've just acquired, we have the ability to transform the production of high purity alumina going forward. As well as LEDs, it's used extensively in the manufacture of semiconductors, and it's also thermally inert and chemically inert, and it's used to help dampen down the heat that's generated from all of these new AI data centers that are being put up globally. It's also used in lithium-ion batteries and other battery architecture to prevent thermal runaway. We've all seen pictures of the Tesla batteries catching on fire. The separators, if they're coated in HPA, prevent that from happening. As a result of all that, we're seeing demand for HPA grow at an annual rate of about 20% per annum, which is very significant. And there's probably going to be a tightening of supply in the next couple of years. And that's about the time we hope to get into at least small scale production. And we're going to see the market double by 2030. High purity alumina is actually a very valuable product. We're seeing here prices per tonne in the region of sort of $15,000 to $30,000 per tonne in what we call 4N. That's 99.99% pure alumina. And it's a high margin, high demand business. You can command much larger prices for 5N and 6N. These are smaller volumes, and so we're really going to tackle that 4N market in the first instance. This is how we found $15 billion worth of HPA with a rubber mallet and a push tube. We drilled out the entire resource, which is enough for at least 40 years of mine life for 150,000 Australian dollars. This is what it comes out looking like. It's incredibly fine grained. It's mostly naturally nanometer in scale. Doesn't need any on-site beneficiation, no crushing or grinding, etc. And so the plan is very straightforward: dig it up and transport it to Perth. This is the location, and as I mentioned, 500 kilometres east of Perth. And the intention is to bring it into Perth, probably into Kwinana, where we'll build the first large plant. We've just recently completed our PFS, our pre-feasibility study. It showed a fantastic NPV of $1.1 billion at a very conservative discount rate. But the important figure here is our operating cost. This is a cost curve analysis, jumped into the future a little bit, where we're imagining the impact as a share of the marketplace. And we believe that at this stage, we will be one of, if not the lowest cost producers of HPA anywhere in the world because of the nature of our material and the nature of our process. We have a very important byproduct credit of SOP, sulphate of potash, and we believe that we can sell that readily into the West Australian marketplace. So overall, it is a world-class set of economics. Going forward, we have recently received a federal government grant of $2.9 million to work with Edith Cowan University and CPC Engineering to build a pilot plant based around membrane technology. Now, membranes are used extensively in the water treatment industry. We're bringing them into the mining sector along with ECU, and we believe that it can be inserted in many places in our process flow sheet to improve recoveries, to improve the quality of the effluents that come out of the back end, and to improve our reagent recirculation. And so all in all, that should lead to a further drop in operating costs as we complete the definitive feasibility study. So we've recently acquired the assets of one of our competitors, went into administration for financial mismanagement. We've acquired a fully functional high purity laboratory. There's only 2 of these in Western Australia. We now own one of those. We've also, as I mentioned, acquired a 50% share in the pilot plant, which is basically going to be turned on this week. And we will be in small scale HPA production within a very short period of time. The biggest thing that we purchased, though, is actually time. Until we had this acquisition, we were still in the test work mode, even though we were doing pre-feasibility studies. And what we've been able to do is basically jump 2 years ahead, save at least $6 million in overheads. And we're now actually the only other company on the ASX capable of producing anything like any quantities of HPA, apart from the leader in the space, which is Alpha HPA. And if you haven't followed that story, it is a great Australian success story. We believe now that we can, once with the power plants up and running, we can export the technology in a modular fashion around the world and scale up to many thousands of tons per annum production at a relatively modest capex of in the tens of millions for each of the modest scale plants that we're going to build. It's a huge breakthrough for us, fantastic acquisition, and bolting that together with our Lake Hope project will deliver something very special. So look, going forward from 2025, the power plant is being switched on, as I mentioned. It's going to take us sort of 6 months or so to get it up to scratch. And then that's going to allow us then to enter into the HPA market, start engaging with customers into 2026, looking for offtake, and then obviously increasing our speed into the marketplace. And then looking to scale up into North America sometime in 2027. And that's going to be a fantastic step for us. Impact Minerals, as I said, code IPT. We've got about $2.5 million in the bank, 24 million market cap. So there's definitely some interest in what we're doing. And we've got very strong support from two major German shareholders going forward. And so this is a fantastic time to have us on the watch list. I'll just finish by talking about Alpha. 8 years ago, they were like Impact Minerals, $20 million market cap, came across a new method to produce HPA, and they've been on a journey since to $1 billion market cap. It's taken them about 8 years. We believe that we'll be able to get to the same position of production as them in 4 years, and we're 2 years into that journey. So you can look for some acceleration in the next couple of years. One of the big things about Alpha, they've just announced that they're building a 10,000 tonne per annum plant, which is where we aspire to get to, but they've had indicative demand for at least 30,000 tonnes of product. And so we have no doubt as we build our plants around the world that the customers will come. And so look, finish by saying, look, come with us on the journey. We aim to be one of, if not the lowest cost producer of HPA globally. We've got a unique deposit in Western Australia, the best place to work in the mining industry, an industry disruptive metallurgical process, and we're rapidly building out our capabilities in that final product specification ready for offtake. As I mentioned, a bit of a supply deficit in 2027, and we're looking to deliver at least modest product into that at about that time. So thank you very much for listening, and if you have any questions, please get in touch with me.